Hey, what's going on, everyone? Before we get into our conversation, I want to let you know this podcast is sponsored by BetRivers.com. BetRivers.com, the best place for all your sports gambling needs. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can also watch all of these episodes on the Field of 68 YouTube channel. Now, let's get into our conversation.
So we'll go back one more time a little bit, just talking about the season. We mentioned the 25-0 start, which was the best start in Syracuse basketball history. Obviously, the season ended losing to Dayton, probably not the, ending that you or the team wanted to have. But from a team standpoint, just talk about like how fun you had with those guys, man. You can talk about Trev and Jeremy and Mike. And then to be able to start off, 25-0 and make history at a program where it's one of the greatest college basketball programs of all time. So that's saying something. To be able to start off 25-0, kind of just take me through that that start as a team and how much fun you guys really had.
Yeah, I mean, any record you can make at Cuse is crazy. With the history of as a guard, anytime I mention with guards, yourself and everybody else, I'm like, it's crazy, even to this day. You know what I mean? But yeah, we had a chemistry. We were able to take that preseason trip. We went to Montreal, fitting obviously because I'm from Canada, so we were playing like the local Canadian schools, and we actually Carleton, which was like a powerhouse in Canada, we almost lost to them. We went into overtime.
Yeah.
And I think that was pivotal for us because I was able to play games before they actually meant something as a freshman. So making mistakes, whatever, getting yelled at. And there was one game against Carleton, CJ hurt his ankle. And this is like my probably second or third game playing with these guys. And we're working out all summer, so I was starting. I knew I was going to start, whatever. But he came to me and said, all right, like, we're going to lose if you don't take over. And I'm like, shoot, yeah, like, we really are. So, I started scoring a little bit more and asserting myself. And we almost lost to Cornell as well that year. One of the first games of the season, we were down like 20 in the first half. And luckily, Trev Cooney caught fire and we ended up winning. But they ended up being, I think, the worst team in the NCAA. So it wasn't all, like we were just blowing guys out. We had a bunch of close games. We had a bunch of games we should have lost that we won. Games on the road, playing in, hostile environments, whatever the case is. So I feel like looking back, it's a crazy record to have. I'm proud to be a part of that. I don't know if it'll be broken again, to be honest. Like with the college landscape, like you have mid majors beating high majors now.
It's different.
But
it's different.
But I wish we would have lost a little bit earlier, man. To be honest, like looking how the season ended, I feel like we were just like playing not to lose. We were just like, oh, this record, or we need to get 25, blah, blah, blah. Instead, it was like, if we would have dropped one, maybe we would have regrouped a little bit faster than we did. Because once we lost that first one, we lost to Georgia Tech. We lost to somebody else. We lost to NC State in the tournament, the ACC tournament. Teams that we should have beat. Yeah, it was like, dang, like we just couldn't get our footing back. Jeremy had a back injury that year as well, so we missed some games. DeJuan Coleman missed some games. But in the tournament, we were healthy, and we were like, all right, let's get going. But it's the tournament is the tournament because you could lose any game, and we did. Second round, Dayton had, they had some pros on that team, guys that are still playing pro overseas now. And not that they were the best team, and it was like, all right, that's a good loss. It was a bad loss, but they had some players on that team, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. What was your greatest moment for you during that season? I have one. I mean, I got it in my head right now. I know exactly where I was when it happened, but I want to get yours. What was your favorite moment of that year?
I have a lot. Obviously, everybody first thought is they think about the game winner in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no doubt. That was mine. I was in the airport in Greece watching it on my phone. And I remember, or I think I was on my way to Greece, but I remember, you hitting that shot like damn near the whole full court shot. That was unbelievable.
It's crazy because everybody I meet, no matter it could be an athlete, non-athlete, retired player, the first thing they say when they meet me is where they were when I hit that shot. So it literally feels like the world was watching that, and it's crazy because LeBron hit a game winner that same night, and so I remember thinking like, oh, everybody's gonna forget about mine, but no, it's like to this day, people still every time it's the anniversary of the shot or we play Pittsburgh, I get it on social media. and my my fiance gives me shit about it. Like, all right, enough. Like, stop posting it now. Like, we seen it. So I'm like,
No,
nah.
keep
I'm just.
keep posting that shit for real.
But that was an amazing moment. Very surreal. Doris Burke interview. I love Doris Burke. So for me, I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I never seen a college kid do an interview after the game like that. Like, we hit the shot, they're clearing out the fans, and they bring me out the locker room to do an interview with her on ESPN.
Damn.
And Joe Biden, obviously the president now, he was vice president back. He called me the next day.
Damn, for real?
Yeah, because
Yo,
he's,
that's
you know,
dope as shit.
he went to Syracuse. It's crazy because it's the president. I knew it was special because everybody around me was reacting, but I'm Canadian, so it's like
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, yeah, cool. Like, call me, sure, whatever, bro. Like, I remember Joe Fields. Big part of my experience was Joe Fields, the academic side of things. But he was like going crazy, like, yo, he's about to call you now, like your phone. Like, yeah, I guess. Like, um, yeah. So it was just a crazy, crazy, crazy experience. I'm trying to think of there was some other moments though. I remember we played Indiana and we won, and I didn't even hit a game winner or anything like that. But I remember GMAC gave me the compliment of like, that's the best floor game I've ever seen a point guard play, and could have just been talking shit. But when it's somebody you look up to, obviously your dreams. I was watching him, and he turned from like, oh, he's, you know, an idol to like, all right, that's my guy now. You know, like that's my coach. I was like, damn, like for real, like I could do that every game. And so they built my confidence that year. Not that I didn't have any myself, but like between Red, Hop, GMAC, they just built me up like to the point I was like, yeah, I really am the best freshman in the country. And then, you know, we were able to kind of turn, you know, the season into a successful one because I was able to play well. I think I was, you know, probably the question mark of the year going in. But I was able to play well with those guys.
Hey, so you mentioned Hop, man. You gotta give me one Hop story, bro. One Hop story because I miss Hop, man. I miss that energy. It was no energy like that, bro. Just give me one,
Insane, bro.
yeah, give me one of your craziest Hop stories, man. It could be whatever, practice, game, whatever.
I remember practice. I remember when coach would leave early some days, and Hop would take over. It would be like the energy would change. And if you meet Hop, you're like, he's just the greatest guy. Like anybody who's come in contact with him would say he's just an amazing person. Always hyped up, always happy. But he'd be like, nah, get on the line. Y'all been bullshitting a few days. I've been waiting to do this. So I remember like, damn, like, so he make us run. Like, nah, we're not in shape. Do it again. And then after practice is done, he's back to being jolly. But like that switch, I didn't expect that from him. Like I've only seen, and this obviously I was a freshman coming in, I only seen the recruiting side of like him. Like, yeah, let's go eat. You're the man, da da da. And then he was like, nah, you've been bullshitting, bro. You out of shape. You tired. You doing this. Get on the line. So we'd all run. He'd come in, say whatever, and he'd be back to him. But I think more the stories about him and Dion. I just think because he just didn't care, bro. Like he didn't care who you are. If you bullshit, he gonna be on you. So I know the stories about him and Dion going at it. Mike MCW told me a bunch about him and Mike going at it, but
Yeah.
I didn't have any crazy Hop stories. I might be forgetting some, but I think he was Hop. He's crazy every day. Nothing that stands out that I was like, all right, you know, the moment. But I'd say GMAC had some moments where he put on some shoes and kind of kill us. And
Yeah.
maybe you question like, maybe he should be in the NBA, not me, dog. Like this thing is frying. So, yeah, but memories, man, crazy. And I think this summer being back there, obviously with you and the TBT, brought back those memories more than I expected him to. Just being in that gym, you know what I mean?
No doubt. Quick story about Hop, bro. We were in practice one time, and Hop crazy, man. He just crazy, them motherfucker. So I think we always used to. I think it was in groups, or it might have been after practice. You know, we getting our extra work in, and you know, we talking shit. I'm like, fuck it, let's play 2-on-2 then. Strap. If you talking shit, like you could guard me. So it was me.
To Hop, this is Hop.
Yeah, I'm talking because Hop talking shit, man. Fuck you. You ain't do. You know, he got in his
Yeah.
mode where he was just talking shit. I'm like, man, fuck you. Check up right now, like. So it was me. I forget who else it was. Me and somebody else, and then him and Murph, like Coach Murph or something. So, Murph fucking terrible. He was terrible. So Man, some have, man, I'm busting his fucking ass. You know, in groups like that, he love to hit you with the pad. So I'm like, ain't no fucking pad here, bro. This is my shoulder and through your man. Like, I'm really giving it to him, like busting their ass. He just talking shit, busting his ass. Yo, he did something, bro, where he kicked the ball, kicked some and missed, and he obviously, well, he fucked his ankle up, right? And we didn't know until the next day in practice. Man, I come to the next day in practice. This motherfucker got a whole boot on his foot, bro. He got this motherfucker then broke his foot or some shit.
Bro, playing,
yeah, or some shit playing with us, and he's still, fuck you, I'm still here. Like he's still doing the same shit.
I never met nobody like that, bro. Like I've never met a human like Hop, and just the stories like this is not like out of the wheelhouse of me. Like, yeah, that's him. I can see him doing that. Like, he don't give a fuck. He'll do whatever it takes to get you to do what you need to do. Not even what he wants you, just what you should be doing. He'll do it. I feel like that's a big part of the year, and I'm glad I was there while he was there. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. So let's transition, bro, into your NBA career. Unbelievable, one of the best, freshman seasons for anybody who been to Syracuse. And then you end up getting drafted 18th by the Phoenix Sun, your childhood dream. Just kind of take me through that evening, bro. When you're with your family and your friends, when you hear your name called, obviously you knew you're going to be drafted, but it's different when it happens. You hear your name call, you get to go put the hat on, shake the hand. Talk about all those feelings and emotions that night, and how was that for you and your family?
Yeah, man, it was the best. Like, I couldn't write it any better. Obviously, the only thing I could change is getting drafted to a better situation.
Yeah.
Which at the time I really didn't care about. It's like, the work's put in, whatever they decide, it is what it is. So I didn't have a legit promise, as they say, but I knew Toronto wasn't going to let me go past 20. And so my fear going into the draft was like, I need to be in the green room. That's I need to walk up there and shake his hand. I just don't want to be the last dude in there. My range was like from 7 to 14. So I'm like, they usually invite 14 dudes. So I'm like, I don't want to be the last dude in there. And if I slip, I'm just there watching you know what I mean? That was my mindset. So my year, they end up inviting like 20 of us. Like, it was way more than just the lottery picks. But yeah, man, it was just enjoying it. It felt like I was watching it at home. You know what I mean? It was no pressure. I was nervous. I just wanted to know where I was going. But I was just like, we got to like probably 14, 15 pick. And I'm like, all right, I've been sitting here a little long. Like, what's up? So my agent asked, like, do you want to know or you want to be surprised with the world? So my dad's like, nah, like, let us be surprised. I'm like, nah, I want to know now. Tell me, like, who is it? Like, I got to know. Like, I've been waiting for months. You know what I mean? So he goes, all right, Phoenix is going to pick you. So obviously it didn't matter where I was going. I was happy, extremely happy. But I don't know if I've told this story publicly, but I go up, I get drafted. Amazing moment. Walking up, you're just like, all right, don't trip. You don't want to be the first dude to trip going up the stairs. And I get it to the back, and they have media, like general media from the NBA, but then they have specific to your market. So, like, I got drafted to Phoenix. They had a bunch of people, like beat writers or whatever from Phoenix, waiting to talk to you. And so they're like, all right, we're gonna wait for you because we hear you're getting traded. So I'm like, to where? They said the rumors say Toronto. So I'm like, oh, like, let's do it. Hell yeah. So I took the hat off.
Yeah.
Like, so I took this Phoenix hat off and I'm sitting there and it felt like forever, but I'm just like on my phone, like, all right, telling my family, like, we're going to Toronto instead. I see Twitter, there's trade packages. They're trying to work out a trade. So after a while, the guy comes back up. He goes, trade didn't go through. You're actually going to Phoenix. So not that I wasn't disappointed. I was still excited, but I was like, damn, Toronto would have been, I'm going home.
No doubt.
I mean, at the time, they ended up signing Corey Joe that year, but they didn't have a backup. They had Kyle Lowry. And I'm like, maybe I'll be able to come in and play day one. You know what I mean? So, and it was confirmed. I've seen videos actually of like the Raptors like draft room talking about like, yeah, we want Tyler. Like, and there's like press conferences like, yeah, the guy we were waiting for at 20 wasn't there. Yeah, we go to Phoenix. Everything's great. And the day before Summer League, Isaiah Thomas signs with Phoenix. Bledsoe was holding out right before, like, I feel like right before training camp, he signs. Goran Dragic is there. So I'm the fourth point guard walking in, no experience, 3 all-star caliber point guards at the time. I'm like, yo, can we get traded? Like, when can I get traded? Like, I want to play. So literally, my first half of the year was calling my agent every day, like, bro, I want to leave. And like, yo, relax. You're 19. You're playing well. They sent me to the G League, all this stuff. But I'm like, yeah, I want to go somewhere else. Like, I'm never gonna play. This dude signed for 4 years. He signed for 5 years. He's about to re-sign for 5-year 90. Like, when am I gonna play? Like, and so yeah, I ended up getting traded that trade deadline. 8 of us or 9 of us got traded from that team. They just kind of blew everything up. But I never got a chance to play. So it wasn't performance based. It was more like, shoot, we trading 2 of our point guards and you going too. We're about to bring somebody else back. So they brought back Brandon Knight, and me and Miles Plumlee went to Milwaukee. So that was like my first taste was literally on draft day. Like, all right, you might be going home. Never mind. And so, yeah, for me, it was, I just kind of looked at it as a blessing. Like, I'm here, but I want to play. I knew I wasn't going to, play there, or at least I didn't see the vision they had for me in Phoenix. So
Welcome to the NBA. Welcome to the
for
business
real.
side. You know what I'm saying? That right
For
away.
real, bro.
You ended up playing for 4 different teams, bro. You said Suns, Lakers, Bucks, and Rockets. Kind of tell me about those first few years in the league. The ups and downs. What it was like for you, and was there somebody who you really connected with that was helping you, through those times?
Yeah, I would say 2, maybe 3, if you consider Phoenix, all rebuilding teams, which makes sense because I was a young player. So a team that's rebuilding is all right. Let's take a flyer on him. Let's see what he could do. The only competitive team I played for was Houston, and so that was probably the most enjoyable because when you're winning and it's like, yo, we're a good team. I just want to fit in anywhere I can. If that's 2 minutes a game, whatever. So it changed. That was the first time I stopped looking at myself, and I was like, I'm just enjoying winning. This shit is fun. We're going to the playoffs, and I was like one guy out of the rotation. So D'Antoni would only play 7, 8, and so the second anybody got injured, I was playing, and so I'm just thinking down the road, like, all right, in the playoffs, shit happens. Somebody rolls an ankle. I'm playing in a playoff game. I know that, like, based on the team. And yeah, but it was just all very different organizations. I think Milwaukee was trash when I got there as far as the setup, everything. And within a year, you could just see the vision they had. They knew Giannis was, you know what I mean, going to be one of the top guys in the league, and they kind of changed everything with the new ownership. Obviously, build an arena, everything like that. But I think Lakers is just a different experience than everywhere else. Like putting on that jersey, playing in the Staples every night. It's any game. There's celebrities. Like, it's just a crazy experience. And then obviously getting to live in LA was amazing.
Was there ever a moment, in the time you were in the league, where, like, a jaw-dropping moment from anyway? It could be in practice, in the game. Was there ever a player who really made you like, God damn?
IT first year.
Oh, real? Okay.
IT first year, and I have some stories about him because he's a hooper. He's like you, where it's like if somebody's playing a game and you in the gym, you're gonna get his shoes on and play. So I remember a few times it was kind of the guys who don't play, we're gonna play 3-on-3, and he'd hop in and just cook me. And I go in the locker room sad, and they'd laugh like, "Yeah, bro, he just signed an extent, like he's about to be a 6th man of the year." Like, so the older guys were kind of talking me off the ledge. I'm like, "Yo, this dude is way better than me." He's like, "Yeah, he does what he did to you to starting point guard, so you'll be all right." Like, so I had a good group of vets: PJ Tucker, Morris twins, IT, Bledsoe. He was the first one, but the real jaw dropping came watching James Harden play, because watching him work out, you'd be like, all right, he's cool, he's good, no different than anybody else in the NBA. Not too many misses, you know what I mean? Like, impressive, but nothing more than everybody else. And then he just had this switch when the game would come on, and it'd be like we'd be watching, and I know Sam Decker is one of my best friends, and I know we'd be looking at each other like, yo. And we had a running joke that, like, if you just took his stats from the first and second quarter, he's a max player. Like, just in the first half. Like, it'd be the first half, he'd have 26 and 10. And this was like his peak years. Like, should have been the MVP in my opinion that year, just biasly being his teammate. But I was like, yo, he's on a different level than anybody else. He could turn it on. Like, all right, it's game time bet. And so even watching Giannis every day, he was the one I was like, yo, I felt like I'm like, all right, he's on a different level as a guard. Like, the stuff he could do. I never seen nobody do that nightly, like night in, night out. We could win the game he won the game by himself. So he's probably number one on my list for that type of stuff.
Hey man, I'll tell you this, man. James Harden is 0-1 against me. And yeah, I'm saying we beat him. So look, we beat him in Miami. We played him in the NCAA tournament when he was with Arizona State, and we really beat him pretty good. It was when we had myself, Johnny, Andy, and he had like, I want to say 6 points. He was like 2 for 10. And this was his sophomore year, so he ended up leaving anyway. But
so you didn't even see this. You were like, yeah, he ain't it.
No, it wasn't. We knew he could play, bro. Now you got to know, like, when you're playing against that zone, it's different.
For sure, that's what I was about to say. Yeah,
it takes away a lot of shit you could do, and James can shoot it, but he's not like a catch and shoot type guy. He's more of he needs to get his dribbles and his rhythm into his shot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we were able to take all that bullshit away. So I could hang that over his head. I might never see him ever, but if I do, I got that hanging over his head, bro.
But yeah, he's a great dude too. Which you don't expect from dudes, high level like that to welcome you in. I won't say a nobody, but like I didn't do anything in the league for him to kind of welcome me in, all of them, the way they did. You know what I mean? Like right when I got there, he was telling me what I need to do is for the team and how I could be better. So, a very enjoyable time. I think probably the most enjoyable was being that year. I was in Houston, then I got traded to LA, and I got a chance to play. And that was the best year, because once I started playing, I'm like, all right, this is what the NBA should feel like. Like, you know what I mean? I'm playing games, I'm playing well, and it was about the performance side instead of dealing with not playing and trades and all the shit that I had to deal with. Essentially every other year I played in the NBA.
Yeah. So it's like you said, it's about opportunity. Right, getting the opportunity to play. If you can't play, then how the fuck can you show anybody?
How you gonna know? Huh? Exactly, and that a lot of casual fans and even people like the personnel in the NBA don't see that, and it's like not every player. Don't get me wrong. There's some players, no matter how much opportunity you give them, they won't turn into what you think they are. But for the most part, you give somebody the right coach, the right confidence, the right playing time.
Oh hell yeah!
You're going crazy. Like you're gonna be like, yo, he's a player, you know what I mean? So that was my first time getting consistent minutes for like half the year. Right after the All-Star break, I knew I was playing every game. I knew I was going to play at least 20 minutes. So I'm like, yo, if you give me 20 minutes, I'm getting my shit off. Like, because we were losing at the time and tanking and all that stuff was going on because we were trying to get Lonzo. But I'm like, shit, I was a free agent after that year. So I'm like, I'm not tanking nothing. I gotta get my shit off. So yeah, they ended up re-signing me, which was a testament to being able to play because y'all let me play. Y'all let me go out there and show what I could do.
I don't think people really understand how much more space it is on that floor, especially when the players that you're playing with are so much better than the players that you're playing with in college, and so it's really a drive and kick. Motherfuckers knocking that shit down. Was it like when you got the opportunity to play, was it easier to make reads and decisions in the NBA than it was in college just because of the floor spacing?
And people might kill me for saying this. It was easy all the way around, bro. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, every time I went out there, I knew I could shoot this pull up. Like, I knew exactly what I could do game in, game out because there's so much space. The players around me, you're more worried about them because I haven't up until that point. You're like, all right, he's just gonna come in and pass and run the plays. So when I got to LA, I'm like, no, I gotta score because passing to these dudes, it hasn't gotten me anything yet. Being like totally honest, that's like they told me, all right, come in the game and make sure these guys get shots and we don't turn over the ball and blah, blah, blah. So that's what I was focused on instead of me going out there and just playing free all the time. But that's what happens when you take a young guy and you don't play him. I'm thinking if I make mistakes, I'm out the game. So the more I'm thinking that, the more mistakes I'm making, the less confidence I have. So I got to LA and I look around and I'm like, shit, we all the same age, bro. Like, let's hoop. So I went in there and I was just aggressive. I was looking to score a little bit more. And naturally, the playmaking come out. And it was easy, bro. Like, the games, even the following year, I got to play big minutes. I was able to perform. And comparing it to college, where these dudes are physical, peak shape, because college don't play, like some of the NBA guys are out of shape for whatever reason. Like,
Yeah.
Dude hasn't played in 10 games and then he comes in and now he's guarding you and you're in rhythm. It's over. Like, there's nothing you could do. There's nothing I could do if it was in that position. In college, everybody's in shape. Everyone's young, playing hard, fouling, three in the key. Not as good shooters. Obviously, I had Trevor Cooney and great people, but like in the NBA, you can't. Certain guys like, yo, don't leave him. Let Tyler score. Don't leave this dude. And even going to Europe, bro, it's so much harder to score in Europe than it is in the NBA. Obviously, the athletic side is, big difference between the NBA and Europe, but like it's way harder. I think if you ask anybody who's played enough games to NBA and then come to Europe, they'll say that. And I think Luka was the one that said it. A couple years ago, but I agree, man. I agree with that. I don't think that's too far-fetched as far as it being easier to score in Europe, or easier to score in the NBA than Europe.
Yeah, I mean, if you have that much space and you're a good decision maker, you're a threat to knock down a jump shot.
And to play free. It's not like, Europe, hey, we're going to run this play. We want to do this. And it's coaches putting their imprint on the game. And the NBA, it's like, oh, you can shoot? All right, bet, shoot it. Like, oh, you can get in lane every time. Don't worry about the plays. So you're allowed, it's like a showcase. You're allowed to go out there and show exactly what you can do. And once you prove that, your coach lets you do it through the minutes and whatever. So that was my opportunity to do that. And I feel like I took advantage in that half year more than any other span in my career in the NBA.
And let's talk about Europe for a minute, because after the NBA you ended up going, I want to say Fenerbahce, right?
First, yeah.
You signed with Fenerbahce, and then going back to talking about the injuries you went through. This is kind of where the first round of injuries started, right? You broke your ankle. You came back. You end up playing with the G League team in Toronto, and then you really had a great comeback year. I think you averaged like almost 18 and 7 assists in the G League. And then I think that next year you ended up going back overseas to Turkey, signed with Turk Telecom, and then you fuck around and tore your Achilles.
Yeah.
Right. Just kind of talk about going through those injuries, the first one coming back, playing well, and then going through a fucking Achilles tear. Like that's one of the worst you can have as a basketball player, bro. Was there ever a moment in time in your mind that you're like, you started to kind of like maybe doubt yourself? Just be not your ability, but just like, fuck.
Yeah,
man,
that's what I was about to say.
Is my body going to be the same? Am I going to be able to move?
Yeah, the only was right when it happened, my Achilles. Like, instantly, that was my first thought. Not anything else. It was like, all right, I'm done. Like, it's over. And I think that's why I was so emotional that day, because I was like, this shit's over. There's no way. Not that I'm not coming back. I knew I was going to work, but I'm like, nobody's going to touch me after this. Like,
yeah.
And it just felt for me like one big rehab. It felt like I didn't finish I broke my shin, my tibia. So a little bit above my ankle. So that was like, it felt like, yo, I'm still rehabbing this. I'm still not even 100% from this. And then I tore my Achilles. But yeah, I decided to go to Europe. Like I said, I never really got to play in the NBA. So I could have stuck around in training camp and minimum and non-guaranteed and all that. And my agent brought it to me like, yo, this is the best team in Europe. You're going to be their point guard. You're going to make more money over there than you did it on your rookie deal per year. Not total, but like, you're going to sign a 1+1 if you hoop. You'll 100% be back in the NBA because it's the best team and it's respected. And if you find a niche, bro, like this is the best team. You'll stay here and make a career out of it. So my brother convinced me. Obviously, he played overseas. I had a bunch of friends Avita Zubac, who I played with in LA, plays for the Clippers now. He was like, bro, that's the best team. Bobby Brown, they're all like, yeah, you got to make that move. So I did, and then yeah, my leg was kind of a freak accident, no contact type of thing. To this day, never watched the video of it. I just can't. Yeah, I rehabbed it as if it was like a normal, like, yo, you rolled your ankle. This is what you got to do to get back to play next week. I was like, all right, what we got to do? Had surgery the next day, flew home, and was like, all right, tell me exactly what you need for me to do, and I'll do it. So we need to do this, and we did it for a year. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to Europe. I'm not playing in G League. I got kids. I'm not about to play for that sum for a year. Like, no. Real quick, the guy I was doing my rehab with, Ryan Schmidt, he's a head coach in Euro Cup now over here. I'm working out with him, and he changes. He's like, all right, we're going mornings, but I have to like help with the Raptors. So I want to like after I'll work you out. So we start working out, and every day he goes, yo, the Raptors want to see you. And I'm like, okay, but like I'm thinking you're gonna bring me in and treat me like a young boy, like put me on the fourth team, and you know what I mean, like how they do guys that aren't on the roster. Like now that the top five will play, or the starting five, then like you'll play when they're done. So for like a few days, I'm like, bro, I'm not going to sit around. I'd rather come here and work out. Like I'm going overseas. So finally he brings it to me. He's like, bro, you're working out 1-on-0. If you went overseas today, you're out of shape. You need to play 5-on-5. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Like I'll go. So I go and tear it up. Day one, like go crazy, because I'm like, my mind wasn't on like, I want these dudes to offer me a contract. I'm just like fuck that. I broke my leg and I'm cooking y'all. Like I've been on the couch for like, that was my mindset. So they end up calling my agent that night, and my agent's like, yo, where were you today? I'm like, with the Raptors. All right, they want you to come to camp and make the team. Like, and so that's why I ended up doing the G League. So we don't end up making for whatever reason I won't go into today, but we don't end up doing a training camp deal. But they're like, all right, you're still rehabbing. We don't think you're 100% playing the G League. We're not going to sign a third point guard. So you're in our system. You're running our plays. If some shit goes down and we need a point guard, you're right here. So they convinced me. I end up playing there. End of the season is like where most of the call-ups come from the G League. I had Orlando, Detroit, a bunch of teams who I was like, all right, we suck. Let's see what this dude can do. And COVID hit. So the season just done. And that's when I'm like, all right, you know, I average, like you said, whatever, 16, 17, 6, and 5. I'm a young guy. I was 25 at the time. If you're not going to call me up in that year, I'm not about to stay here for another year. I'm going to go make some money. And so that was my decision why I went back overseas.
And then it seems like a guy like you, bro, you're like, you could seamlessly just kind of go overseas and play, because you know how some guys are, they're in the NBA, they're super athletic, but if they go to some structure,
they don't translate.
It doesn't translate. So was it?
I see that a lot, bro.
So for you, it was pretty easy, right?
Yeah, other than learning little nuances like the take foul and the, you know what I mean, just the rules, I'd say, it's still like I'm still like certain things. I'm like, damn, that's actually the rule now. Like, but yeah, the style of play I feel like probably matches the way I play over here a lot more than NBA, where it's just, you know, 1-on-1 ISO. Like I'm a pick and roll guy. You know, you run pick and rolls, I'm gonna create something. So that's essentially every team I've went to. That's kind of what they do, and that's why they bring me here. So.
And you really got to know how to fucking play. Like I swear to God, bro, it's dudes in the league don't know how to fucking play. They're just lucky they play with somebody who knows how to play and put them in that position. Bro. You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy. Not on no bitter hate and stuff, but watching NBA games is hard, because I compare it to what I have to watch in Europe and in college, where I'm like, yo, why would you do that? Like where, and the NBA is obviously a different world, the best league. But I'm like, yeah, most of these dudes, not most of, I'd say some of these dudes, if they came over, obviously it's not the NBA, but they wouldn't last just based on basketball. Like,
for real.
Not even mentioning the other stuff.
It's a coaching. Few guys. It's a few guys who went over there, bro, and got cut right away off of that shit.
It's not, yeah. So I feel like that's an accomplishment. You know, you turn something negative, not being able to get a contract in the NBA, and it's like, all right, you've made a career overseas, establish yourself in a different way to play. you could adapt anywhere. I could go China, and if all right, you got to score 40, I'm gonna figure it out. Same way I figured everything else out, and that's kind of how I looked at entering the draft. Like, all right, I'll figure it out. Like, so.
Yeah, that's
But
the
you
mind.
know,
That's the mindset though, bro. At the end of the day, it comes down to you and you being comfortable with the decisions that you're making. And bro, fuck, you played in the NBA. You still playing ball overseas. You know, making money to take care of your family, traveling the world, seeing
yeah,
embracing different cultures. Come on, man, shit could be way worse.
100%. I think about that every day. Think about I had 2 career-ending injuries. I was just if I played in if I played 20 years ago, my shit would be over. I'd be done.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But I played in 2020, 2020. I got hurt in 2018, not 2020. Where they could fix my shit and I could play 7 months later. So I'm never take it for granted. Obviously, my viewpoint has changed a little bit after injuries and you know approaching it differently as a mature. This is my 9th year out of college, but I mean, I'm fortunate to still be playing and playing at a high level. You know what I mean? Not just over here collecting contracts. I'm actually feel like I'm getting better year by year.
No doubt. That's what it's about. Bro, I want to kind of go back to Q's for a second. I mean, for you, what really made Syracuse community so special and why do you think it, differs from all the other universities and communities out there?
I would say the fans play a big part. The support. I know every college, not every college, but most colleges have support. But I feel like Cuse was different, man. I feel like going there, I felt like I was home from day one. And it's weird. I know it's like a cliche thing to say, but I never felt out of place. And I don't know if that's the coaching staff, the players like yourself who kind of welcome everybody in from day one. But yeah, I just felt like I was comfortable right away. Like right when I got on campus, like, all right, you know. But obviously coach, obviously you have a lot of trust in a guy who's won, what is he at, 1,000 wins now? Whatever. I don't know how
Yeah,
many wins he has.
I think it's the second time he got 1,000 wins, they
Second
say.
time getting 1,000. So it's like you have the utmost respect and confidence because it's like, you won 1,000. You've almost seen every situation in
Right.
basketball by this point. So yeah, it's just a special place, man. Hard to explain. I think when you go there and even just walking through the Mellow Center, you're just like, so much has gone on, so much history, so much accomplishments and superstar players and whatnot. So I and in Mello they have that poster, and it's just a bunch of Hughes players, and I think that's and they have a big poster of me too. I think that's
Yeah.
one of the accomplishments. A big accomplishment for me is just being able to be one of, I wouldn't say legends, but one of the players on that poster. It's very special to me. So I have a lot of love for Cuse, man. I think everybody who's went there, shares that love. So
No doubt. You could say legend. Shit. Not not a lot of people were able to come through and did what you did. So yeah, hell yeah. I'd say
yeah,
legend.
I compare you guys who did it year in, year out. You know what I mean? You did it for 4 years,
But
like
shit,
it's
if I'd have had that 1 year, I'd have left
you would
too.
have did one, yeah.
What you mean? I'd do the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
thing, you know?
Yeah. Cuse is a special place, man. I hope it continues. I think it will continue even after coach leaves in 100 more years. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody who went there is a supporter for life. I don't think there's many guys with bitter feelings about Cuse and whatnot.
No doubt. Hey, bro, last question, and I'm gonna get you up out of here. And I asked this to all the guys before I get off. What advice would you have for kids nowadays growing up wanting to play college or pro sports? And what would, one thing you would say they need to do to give themselves a chance?
My advice in the basketball aspect of that question is play. Like just hoop as often as you can in different environments as much as you can. Because I feel like a lot of kids now work out more than they hoop, and that's great. But
Yeah.
it's a different. You learn how like the flow of basketball works, and not to get too basketball nerd into it. Just working out is not enough. Basketball, you need to play it. You need to be comfortable in situations, and you don't get that in workouts.
Right.
But from a broad perspective, man, I feel like it's just taking care of business and the academic side is huge. But yeah, just continue developing, man. You got to be obsessed with it. You got to be,
Man,
and
that's it.
even if you're not, it still might not be enough. Like,
Yeah.
but if you're not obsessed with it, you don't even give yourself a chance unless you're a uber athlete, and there's a very few of them that are able to do that. So you got to be obsessed with it, and that's not just playing 2K. That's playing by yourself, working out, taking care of your body. Not obviously the kids are young; they don't got to eat healthy and all that stuff, but taking care of your body as far as like making sure you're able to play, produce. But yeah, just being obsessed with it. Watching games is a big way for young guys. Obviously, growing up in Michigan and Toronto, you can't get in the gym. You watch enough NBA games, you're gonna pick up some stuff that you don't even mean to, and I'm still doing that now. So yeah, being a student of the game, being obsessed. You're obviously a basketball junkie, myself as well, and I think everybody who's able to get to that level and be a guard in the ACC either works extremely hard, is a basketball junkie, or they're both. And I think you got to piece it together. It's like winning the lottery, playing pro basketball. So you got to treat it, as such. You got to work and hopefully you win the lottery. You know what I mean?
Hey man, Tim, you got to clip that one up because you said exactly what I said on social media not too long ago for these kids. Like, you have to be obsessed with it, and even then, it might not work out.
Why
But
not,
but
bro? Like,
but you're giving yourself a chance.
yeah. I have a bunch of friends, teammates who were obsessed with it as much as me, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. We could talk all day why those reasons are, but they gave it a chance. They worked, and it didn't pan out. So being obsessed with it is the easy way to say it. I feel like you got to actually make it your life, especially as a high school kid. You know what I mean? Guys are making $1 billion to play basketball. Like, it's crazy. Like, what doctors have to do to become a doctor is nothing. Like, or what we have to do as basketball players is nothing compared to a doctor. We
Right.
get to best job in the world, and people take it for granted. I feel like so.
Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
that's it.
No doubt. T, man, I appreciate you coming on, taking some time. I know you overseas grinding. I know you said you picking up the family tomorrow, so I hope they have a
Yep.
safe flight, get there safe with you, and enjoy the rest of the season, bro, and keep doing your thing, man, for real.
Appreciate you. Thank you for bringing me and also just spreading your knowledge all the time, bro. I appreciate you, and I know a lot of other people do.
That's all love, bro. I appreciate that, man. We gonna definitely link up again soon, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.